Hey folks, Eric Frey, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, November the 28th. Busy week last week. Did a lot of doubles. Was on the water every day but Thanksgiving Day. Was on the water yesterday, took the day off. It's been busy and the fishing's been okay. Fishing's been pretty good. It's not been great, not been a typical fall pattern, but we have been catching them. Have been catching actually quite a few deep. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 914.45 as of this morning. That is about a half a foot below normal winter pool. Of course, we don't start normal winter pool till December 1st, so we're actually, I guess, about 2.5 feet below where we should be right now. Like I told you guys last week, the Corps ran a bunch of water. They are trying to get it down to 915 before the 1st of December. Here we are a couple days before the 1st of December, and they've got it down below where it needs to be, so I expect them to probably start shutting that water off here pretty soon. As far as our water temperature is concerned, it really hasn't moved that much, guys, and I think this warmer weather yesterday, warmer weather today, really don't have a lot of cold weather coming in. Got slight chance for rain tomorrow, which may help us out a little bit. Hopefully we'll get more than they're predicting. But we are at still at right around 60 degrees. It's usually about 57, 58 in the morning. If you stay out all day, fish into the afternoon, you will see 60, 61 degrees in the afternoon, and it really doesn't seem to matter what part of the lake you're on. Still have some incredibly warm water for this time of year. But as far as the fishing is concerned, like I said, was on the water quite a bit last week, and we're catching some fish. It's not going to tell you it's great. It's a little bit tougher than it should be, but it's a great opportunity to learn how to catch them when it's tough. If you're thinking about coming down, say you're going to come down, you're going to fish the lower end of the lake. Best bite by far down on the lower end has been a deep bite. We've got a few fish up shallow. You can catch a few on a jig, Jewel Pro spider jig, mostly on those transition areas from rock to gravel, all about 8 to 15 foot deep. Seems like that bite's better in the creek arms. Matching that spider jig up with a Zoom Speed Cross seems to be the best. But you're not going to load the boat. I mean, it's going to be one of those deals. Yeah, you can go out and get 5-10 bites in a day doing that, but you're not going to get a lot of bites doing that. Best bite by far has been a deep bite. Drop shot rig's been my #1 go-to rig. Shad shaped worm, Yamamoto cut tail, the new UV drop shot worm, and the Chomper's drop shot worm have all been very effective. Most of the fish I've been catching have been out on those gravel points, anywhere from about 25 to about 45 feet deep, glued pretty tight to the bottom. You're not going to just go out and find them on a point and catch the heck out of them. You got to work for them. So we are dropping it down. We are working the fish over, but generally once you get one to bite, you can get 2 or 3 more in the school to bite. So we've been doing well with that. Have been catching a few on a Jewel Scuba Spoon and a Rapala jigging wrap. But those fish seem to be more in the trees and the creek arms. Not really loaded up in there like we like to see this time of year, but we are starting to see some fish in some of the bigger creeks. Indian Point, both Big and Little Indian Creek have some fish in those trees. Spring Branch, Big Cedar Cove, some of those bigger creeks have got some fish in them. But like I said, you're not going to find a bunch in the trees. You can find a few, you can catch a few fish in the trees. But really, jig bite, deep bite has been my best 2 bites down on the lower end. Going to the Kimberling City area, jig bite's a little bit better in Kimberling City. Have been catching a few more on a jig, especially around boat docks on those transition banks. Again, you're looking for those areas that are rock going to gravel, and anywhere from about 8 to about 15, maybe even 20 feet deep. Jewel Pro spider jig's been my best jig down there. I've actually been doing a little bit better with the 7/16 over the 5/16. I think the fall rate makes a difference. When you pull it off of a ledge, that jig falls a little bit faster, gets more of a reaction bite than the 5/16 does. Always seems to do that here and in the wintertime or in the fall. It seems like they want that faster fall rate to get more bites, get more of a reaction bite. Still matching it up with the Zoom Speed Craw. Okeechobee Blue's been probably my best color, but I have caught a few on Green Pumpkin Candy and a few on Watermelon Candy, and again basically Green Pumpkin or Green Pumpkin Candy on the Speed Craw. Deep bite is strong in the Kimberling City area as well. Seeing a lot of fish out on those gravel points, on some of those gravel humps, out there with a drop shot rig, shad shaped worm, Yamamoto cut tail worm, the new UV finesse worm or UV drop shot worm, and the Chompers drop shot worm. All those are working. Again, these fish range from about 25 to about 35, 45 feet deep, holding really tight to the bottom. Have caught a few on the Rapala jigging rap on those fish as well, and a few on a Jewel scuba spoon. Seems like I do better with the drop shot unless the fish are very active. Haven't seen a lot. I think we had one day last week where they were actually really active. It was kind of a weird day, but caught more on a spoon and an ice bait that day. But really, go-to bait has been a drop shot rig. Have caught a few in the trees, but again, it's like on the lower end. There's fish in those trees. They just don't seem as active. Haven't been catching as many in the trees in the guts of the creeks, creeks like White's Branch or Schooner Creek. You'll grab a lot of fish back in those trees, but getting those fish to bite has been a little bit harder than the fish out on the gravel runouts and the gravel flats. Go up into the James. If I was going to throw a crankbait anywhere in the lake right now, it would probably be the James River. It would probably be from point 12 upstream. Did a trip up there last week. Guys really wanted to throw a crankbait a little bit, so we threw a rock crawler, we threw a wigglewort. Didn't set the world on fire, but we did catch several fish on a crankbait up there. Most of them were shorts. We did catch a few keepers doing it. Basically looking at those transition areas, the same areas we've been throwing the jig. And main lake was a little bit better than back in the creeks up that way. Parallel on the bank, 7 to 12 feet deep. Catching those fish, you go down a 100-yard stretch of bank, you might catch 3 or 4 fish. So it's not like we lit the world on fire, but we did catch several fish doing that. Jig bite is definitely strong up there as well. Seems like areas like Ants Creek or Willie Creek, where you've got some docks that you can flip around the docks, and the docks that have brush on them, doing a little bit better. The fish aren't necessarily in the brush, but they seem to be hanging around the brush piles. Jewel Pro Spider jig, again, that 7/16 seems to be better than the 5/16 right now. Okeechobee Blues, by far my best color. Matching it up with a speed craw and working it slowly along the bottom and off of those ledges. Pay close attention when you're pulling it off of the ledges, because you will get a lot of bites as that bait's falling. And then the drop shot rig on the lower part of the James, anywhere from about, actually point 12 to the confluence with the White. That's where I've been catching a lot of drop shot fish. And again, these fish, most of them are on the gravel runouts, 25, 35, 45 feet deep, shad-shaped worm, UV drop shot worm, cut-tail worm, and the Chompers drop shot worm. All have been working. You got to find those fish on the bottom, drop to them, you'll hook one, and the rest of the fish will come up and chase after it. Usually when you find a good school, you can catch 4 or 5 out of a good school. Of those 4 and 5, usually at least 1, maybe 2, and then a keeper. Go up into the White River, and White River's been pretty strong. Actually had a pretty good trip up the White River late last week. A lot of fish out on those gravel runouts. A lot of fish on a drop shot rig up there. A lot of them on the shad shape, a lot of them on the cut tail, a lot of them on the new UV drop shot worm, and of course Chompers drop shot worm. Again, they're 25 to 45 feet deep. Seemed like the main lake bite was a little bit better up there in the drop shot than back in the creeks. Again, you'll see 2 or 3 fish on the bottom. You get one to go, it'll activate the school, and you can catch a few more out of it. But a pretty good drop shot bite up the White last week. Did catch a few on a jig up there too, mostly on those transition areas, rock to gravel, anywhere from about 12 to about 25 feet deep. Have been using the 7/16 Jewel Pro Spider jig up there too, matching that up with the Zoom Speed Craw. And really the bite it's a very soft bite, and most of the bites are coming as you're pulling it off of one ledge down to another, and you'll get a fish to pick it up and swim off with it, and if you're not paying attention, you're not going to feel that fish. Did go up into the Kings and throw a crankbait a little bit. I don't know if it was the day or the weather conditions. We didn't have a lot of wind last week when I was up there. We caught a few shorts on a crankbait, mostly on a rock crawler. Didn't catch any keepers up there, but that's kind of the way the Kings is. You can go up there one day and all you can catch is shorts. You go up there the next day and all you catch are keepers. But there is a crankbait bite up the Kings, rock crawler, or the wigglewort. And again, fishing anywhere from about 7 to 12 foot deep on those transition areas. And that's all main lake up there. That's all in the main river. Just hitting the ends of those river channels is where I've been catching the fish up there. Guys, it is the end of November, and it's going to be 71 degrees today. It was 72 yesterday. The 50s tomorrow and the rest of the week be back to normal, but fish are biting, and it's not been bad. I mean, it's not Katie bar the door. I keep seeing these posts on Facebook, guys saying, oh, they need to restock Table Rock. Oh, it's all the fish are going on a Table Rock. Oh, blah, blah, blah. They're still there. The bite is a little bit tougher. I can tell you, like I said, I worked every day but Thanksgiving Day last week, and we did not have a single trip where we did not at least catch 20 fish. Some trips were a little bit better than others. We had a couple of trips where it was just ridiculous. We got on the right school of fish and caught 35, 40, 50 fish in 4 or 5 hours. That doesn't happen every day, just like anything else, but we are catching fish. We're catching a lot of fish every day. It's a great time if you guys struggle fishing deep or want to learn how to fish deep or want to learn how to grind out a limit when the bite's really tough, especially on Table Rock and Bull Shoals and Beaver Lake, these lakes that we fish deep on. Now is a great time to come down and do that, because that's what we're doing. We're out there grinding out fish. We're not just going down the bank and throwing a Ned rig at the bank, though that will probably work right now. That's not what we're doing. We're out there finding these fish and catching them deep. That's where the bulk of the fish are right now. I've got a lot of openings in December. Obviously, it's December. You got holidays. You don't know what the weather's going to be like. But got a lot of openings in December. We are running winter rates now through the end of February, and it's a great time if you want to learn how to fish deep. Maybe you want to learn how to tackle a lake when it's this tough. It's a great time to come down. If you're thinking about coming down, want to go fishing, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743. Hit my website, focusfishing.com. Shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I'll get back to you within 12 hours. Let you know about your dates and times that you're picking out. But it's a great time to come down and fish. We basically have the lake to ourselves. This deep bite is going to kick off here in the next couple of weeks. There's enough fish in these deep trees and out on these points that when the water temperature gets right, we're going to have a lot more of those 30, 40, 50 fish days. So if you guys are thinking about doing it, give me a call. We'll go fish and we'll have fun. Thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for taking the time to subscribe if you've subscribed. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.